Hi, I'm Narayan, co-founder CEO of Block Armour. Today I'd like to talk about the importance of hardware attestation. Recently, CERT-In released an advisory on the importance of zero trust architecture. One of the key differentiators of that advisory was hardware attestation. Why is hardware attestation so important in today's day and age? With the advent of AI-enabled attacks, it has become very easy for adversaries to detect vulnerabilities in your ecosystem and compromise various applications and access data in an unauthorized manner. The key entry point for this is generally compromised user identities. If you add a layer of hardware attestation, it can augment your security posture by multiple levels. Let me just give you a perspective of how this works on the ground. Imagine there is no hardware attestation. You largely rely on username passwords and maybe multi-factor authentication. Today, AI can easily compromise your multi-factor authentication, which means that you have to assume that username password is compromised, MFA is compromised. What this means is that just by compromise of credentials, you can access data in an unauthorized manner. Compromise of credentials and multi-factor authentication should not result in unauthorized access. This is where hardware attestation comes in. Hardware attestation deals with the fact that users have to come or access information only from authorized hardware, which means that company issued laptops and desktops or mobile phones should also be validated before granting access. Now, this validation should not just be in silos the way it happens today. So you authenticate the user with your Active Directory or some kind of identity manager. You authenticate the device using some other means. What it means is that user A is an authorized user, the device is authorized as a company device, user B also is an authorized user. It's very, very important that user A should be able to only access applications through their own device and not through user B's device, and vice versa. This simple control creates a robust mechanism which A reduces their attack surface and B completely defeats lateral movement. True hardware attestation will check the user identity, will have multi-factor authentication, and will bind the user to the device. All accesses should be allowed only after all these three are validated. And this hardware attestation should not just be limited to certificates which are present on operating systems, which again can be exported onto other devices, and it's very easy to impersonate and spoof. But rather it should be dependent on certain hardware parameters which are unique to that device. And that's the real way forward if organizations need to protect their ecosystems from AI-enabled attacks and implement the CERT-In Advisory in letter and spirit. Let me give you a perspective of how Block Armour Secure Shield platform can help you implement hardware attestation both in letter and spirit, and the way that CERT-In has mentioned in their guidelines. So what we essentially do is that we deploy a smart agent on every device, and that smart agent generates a unique digital fingerprint of that device, and that fingerprint is automatically mapped to the user that is using that particular device. The best part is that this entire process is automated, and once this unique identity is created, all further access is based on a combination of the user identity plus the device identity. So hence what you get is that when a user needs to access an application, they first need to supply their username and password, which can be the same username and password that is your Active Directory or your identity manager password that they're currently using. There is an integrated multi-factor authentication that they will need to provide. Now, once this combination is validated, then automatically the user and hardware combination is validated. Only when all these three things are successfully validated, access is permitted or denied. This is a very easy and simple way for organizations to enhance their security posture without breaking a sweat. And the Block Armour Secure Shield solution sits as an overlay over your entire existing infrastructure, requiring minimal changes to augment your security posture.